When I look at my
Happy Halloween, everyone, and welcome to Cookin with Dre. You may be asking yourself, Dre, what kind of spooky treats are you making tonight? That's not properly my style. I'm just working on seasonal veg. Tonight I will be making an Applewood smoked pumpkin spice pork loin with pumpkin puree, roasted Brussels sprouts, and a sage brown butter sauce. And you're probably also thinking, Dre, it's not even November yet. I'm so sick of pumpkin spice. But it's not the same thing. I'm going to flip the script. What I did is I took the seeds from the pumpkin I roasted, I pre-roasted them. I'm going to make a dry rub for the pork loin. It's going to be super nice. And you're probably also wondering, well, how did pumpkins become a part of Halloween? Well, it all started from an old Irish legend, Stingy Jack. And the legend goes that he's having a drink with the devil. And due to his name, he's so stingy, he's like, I don't have any money to pay. So he convinced the devil to turn himself into a coin to pay for the drinks. But he didn't pay for the drinks. He put the coin in his pocket next to a silver cross so the devil couldn't change back into his original form. Finally, he released the devil on the fact that he would not take his soul when he died. And this sort of trickery just happened till the day he died. And God said that he didn't want him since he was such an unruly character. And the devil wanted to hold up his promise to not take his soul, so he gave him a lump of coal to wander the night. And what he did was he carved out a turnip to hold this lump of coal in, and then this figure became to be known as Jack of the Lantern, or even Jack-o'-lantern. And once this myth came to America, the land of the pumpkins, that's when we started carving out spooky faces in them to scare the spirits away on Hallows Eve, which is the evening before All Saints Day. So tonight, we're going to use this in our dinner. It's going to be awesome. But first I want to talk about nutrition facts. Like, pumpkin is a nutritional powerhouse. It's full of vitamins and minerals such as vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin B12, vitamin B2, vitamin E. It even has traces of riboflavin, thiamine, iron, and even a little bit of protein. And it also has what's known as beta-carotene. And beta-carotene is a compound which makes fruits and vegetables orange. Some other vegetables with beta-carotene: carrots, certain types of squash, and pumpkins. And your body is going to take this beta-carotene and break it down into vitamin A, which is healthy for your skin. And beta-carotene has also been known to help prevent certain types of cancers, and even dementia of Alzheimer's, and even macular degeneration. And what that is basically a part of your retina, the macula, that degenerates and it causes blurry vision in your old age. So, this meal tonight will help you with that. And we're also serving Brussels sprouts, which also has the same kind of nutritional value. A lot of potassium, very low fat, low carbs, very low calorie. It's going to be a good, healthy fall meal tonight. Stay tuned and we'll get this going. The first thing you want to do, preheat your oven to 400 degrees. In this recipe I'm making tonight, serving of 4. The first thing we want to do is we're going to get our veg roasting. Here I have one medium-sized pumpkin, also known as a sweet pie pumpkin. And I also have half of a butternut squash. I like to add a little butternut squash because it gives a little better texture, a little extra color as well. What we're going to do is we're going to take some olive oil and just drizzle. We'll put some olive oil, maybe a couple tablespoons on our Brussels sprouts as well. Then we'll get a little salt and pepper we got. Just cover like that. And then we'll give this a nice toss. And we're going to leave these uncovered. But I'm going to make like a little foil pouch for my Brussels sprouts. About 20 minutes in, we'll remove the top so it gets a nice crisp sauce outside to it. throw these both in. We'll set our timer for 45 minutes and then we'll check and see where we're at. See you in a little bit. Alright, for our next step, we're going to make our dry rub. Here I have the pumpkin seeds. It's about a half cup, maybe a little more, that I've got extracted out of our pumpkin. I roasted these at 300 degrees for 50 minutes, exactly. Toss some little olive oil, salt and pepper. That was it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get our spice grinder. We're going to dump them in. And we're just going to grind them up to it's fine like a flour. Alright, so we've ground these up, and as you can see, it's getting pretty fine. I want to talk about pumpkin seeds for a second. They have exactly almost the same nutritional value as the pumpkin meat or flesh, but the only difference is the seeds have omega-3 fatty acids. It's good for your heart, good for your brain, it's great health stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're just going to run it through a little strainer and try to get any of the shells or anything that's still there. Just tap it on through. So we're just going to take all those seeds and stuff, just throw them away. And at this point, I'm going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, 1/4 teaspoon of granulated garlic, 1/4 teaspoon of coriander. Then I'm also going to add in 1/4 teaspoon of allspice and then 1/2 teaspoon of cardamom. On top of that, to make it taste like something, we're going to add in about 1 tablespoon of sea salt. Then we'll mix this up. Give it a nice toss. One might say it smells like pumpkin Sylvania in here. Oh, it's so delicious. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and rub our pork loin down. I've taken most of the silver skin and the fat off, and then we're just going to season it with a little salt and pepper. And then we're going to season it with our rub. And we're going to let this sit for 10 minutes and we'll sear it at a medium-high heat in a skillet. And then we'll roast it for 30 minutes and then check. So let's dredge all sides. Make sure we get it in the cracks. We want to get all that flavor in there. So it's pretty heavily coated right now. And I also want to mention the pumpkin seeds. You can use them as a substitute for flour if you grind them up. If you're looking for a no gluten recipe, this is a perfect substitute. And what this is going to do is it's going to mimic flour, so we're kind of getting a sort of a breading on our sear here. So we're going to let this sit for about 5 or 10 minutes while we get our pan hot, and then we'll sear it up. Alright, so we've seared our pork loin about 3 minutes, 4 minutes on each side, starting to get a little crispy. We'll go ahead and throw it down in our oven. And then we'll put that on for about 20 minutes, and that should give us enough time to make our pumpkin puree and reserve our vegetables to the side. Over here I have my brown butter working, and 2 4-ounce sticks of butter is going to be a serving of 4 in this instance, maybe with a little extra left over. And what I'm doing here is I just have it on medium-low heat, and I'm basically evaporating the water, and then we're trying to brown the solids that are in there, and that's what gives it this color. Initially you have a white, clear-ish color, and then it will turn to a tan, and then it will turn to a brown, and that's what we're looking for. And that's going to take anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes depending on your heat. So this is coming along nicely. And once we brown our butter, we're just going to take it off the heat, throw in 8 leaves of chiffonaded sage, and those should crisp up immediately. Then we'll reserve that in the back of our stove, and we'll wait for everything else to be done. So I've been cooking this for 10 minutes. So you can see it's starting to get brown, and that's where we want it. And those bubbles will eventually just recede. So we have really, really nice smell going on here. So at this point, we're just gonna cut our heat, and then we'll grab our sage. Here's our 8 leaves of sage. We're just gonna stir in there. As you can see, they're crisping up real nice and real quick. All right. So we're just gonna take this off the heat, move it to the back, let it rest for a second. It should be nice. All right, so our timer's gone off. I just want to let you know that I checked these veg at 45 minutes and ended up setting it for an extra 15. So we're gonna pull them out. Oh yeah. Trying to get a nice color here. Pretty nice. We'll reserve those Brussels sprouts till we're ready. And it looks like our pumpkin and butternut is ready as well. We're just going to let this chill for a minute, and we'll transfer it over to our blender and make our puree. Alrighty, so we've transferred our pumpkin and our butternut squash that we've peeled out of the skin into our blender. We're just going to season it up with a nice pinch of salt and pepper. Some of this pumpkin seed spice we made earlier, maybe a whole tablespoon, maybe a little more. And then we'll start off with a 1/4 cup of light cream. And we're going to start it low like that, because sometimes you might need more, but we're going for low calorie, low fat here, so I don't want to add too much. But you can also add water to pumpkin and butternut squash when you mix it. You can even add stock, when you're making soup. Stock would work. Water gets absorbed by the pumpkin without taking away the flavor. So what we're going to do, plug that in. I can already tell we're just going to need a little more cream. Do another 1/4 cup. See how that does. So sometimes you might need a little spatula. Go ahead and push the sides down so you get everything. We're looking really good and smooth in here. So we push our chunks down. That smells so good. So we're just going to take this off, reserve it. We got a couple minutes left on our pork. We'll be ready to smoke that and plate up. Alright, here we have our 2-pound pork loin. We've roasted for 55 minutes. It looks like we're sitting at about 155. So now we're going to get on to the smoking process. What we're going to do is cut our slices out for our servings, put it on this plate. I have this handy dandy glass bowl that we're going to cover it, and then we're going to inject it with smoke. So we're just going to go ahead, cut a couple slices about 3/8 inch thick. I'd say about maybe 4 or 5 per plate. Alright. So remove our portions to our plate. Cover it with a roll. And here we have my smoker right here. What we're going to do is we're just going to put the tip underneath, kind of give it a pinch. And what that is going to do is going to help condense the smoke so it doesn't just blow out the sides. So cut this on, light it. I have some of my dried Applewood here. Oh yeah. That's where we want to be. Get some nice aromatics. Alright, that looks pretty good. We'll cut this off. We'll let this sit and we'll work on our plate up. Oh yeah. First thing we're going to do, we're going to put a couple spoonfuls of this pumpkin puree off to the side here. Maybe a little off center. Probably about 4 ounces. Then we'll grab some of our brussels. I can scoop out about 10 pieces off to the side. 10, 12. And I forgot to say in the beginning, this is about a pound of Brussels sprouts I use. Should be good enough for 4 servings. So now, at this time, we're about to remove this, plate our pork, finish our plate up. This is going to be super nice. Ooh, yeah. So we got a nice little aromatic here. We're just going to plop 4 slices on top. Then we'll take some of our brown butter we got. You always want to give it a stir because you're going to notice the only thing that turns brown is the solids. You're still going to have the clear fat in there. So take a couple nice spoonfuls over top. Oh yeah. And at this point, we're going to take some of this pumpkin seed spice we have, and we'll just garnish. Voila. There we have it. Applewood smoked, pumpkin spiced, pork loin, pumpkin puree, roasted Brussels sprouts, brown butter. Happy Halloween, everyone.